Okay, so this is the serious post y'all supposed to get. So today I was out on my walk. It was not a walk today because I didn't feel like jogging. And as I was walking, I felt like I just didn't want to do it. I was experiencing resistance, right? And I just was like, you know what? Just push through. Because typically I'll walk about 3 miles. And for some reason today I just didn't have it. And I was going to turn around and go back because who going to stop me? Who going to check me, right? And that's where self accountability comes in. That's where keeping your promises to yourself comes in. That's when you remember why you started. So, for those of you that don't know, almost 2 years ago, so I'll say like a year and a half ago, year and 3/4, I was nearing 200 pounds. I was wearing size 14s and size 16s. I was trying to finish up a dissertation. I was in a marriage that was on the rocks, and I just was not healthy. I was not on balance, or I was off balance mentally, spiritually, like mind, body, and spirit, just all out of whack. And I had no idea how bad it really was. I just thought life was lifing, and really, I was not in control of my life, right? And when I left that marriage, of course, I finished the dissertation, evidenced by Dr. Nicole, right? I vowed to put myself first, understand me, what was my role in the reality that I was living, right? Because we think a lot of times that life is happening to us, but in actuality, it's a part of our own creation. We play a role in it. We are leading lady, leading man in whatever our life is in that moment. And so people can do things, but it's like, what do we allow? And so after coming out of that and doing some really deep soul work and really locking in with God, I started walking. Literally, I walked off those pounds. I ain't really matching today, but I just put on what I need to put on to get out here and do this walk. And I now wear a size 6. Primarily wear smalls, some mediums. I didn't do anything extreme. I didn't do any GLP-1s, and that's no shade to anybody. No, not at all. But God really helped me. God gave me a vision that I would be a runner. I kept having this dream about running, and I was like, God, please, like, whatever. I've never been a runner. And historically, I'm a very thin person. Like, if you see pictures of me as a kid, it's ridiculous. And actually, I'm a pop one right here. You see that little girl on the roller skates? That's me. So, I had to make some changes, right? And it wasn't anything wild as much as it was my commitment to self. So while I was going through the parts last year, putting myself back together, piecing myself back together, I really just said, I'm going to commit to consistency and walking every day. And when I started, I just walked as much as I could. And it just picked up and it became more and more. And I developed my route and continued to expand it. And it was like the pounds were falling off of me like crazy. And so recently, I've been going through some grief. I lost my great aunt, and my mom is battling cancer. And actually, this is the first time I think I'm really doing a video publicly acknowledging my mother's cancer. She was diagnosed back in March. And she's in a stable place. She's going to continue like medications and things like that for a year. So right now, the prognosis is great. She does have some other health issues that are going that are serious. So y'all just keep her in prayer. Keep us all in prayer. And so like some days, I don't feel like it. And what happens usually when we are having an off day, we focus on pouring into everybody else. And we say, I don't need it. I'm going to just sit. And so today I said, no, I'm coming out. I'm going to walk anyway. And when I hit that resistance, I said, I'm going to walk anyway. Like in my mind, because your mind is very powerful. And my mind was like, oh, that's so far. And I was like, just go, Jeannie. And then I started working on some content for other things. And promo for this week's episode of Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole. You can catch it on all the platforms. And next thing I know, I was at the point where I needed to turn around just because I said I could. And just because I said, Jeannie, just remember your promises to yourself, right? And we're so powerful, y'all. our biggest hurdle, our greatest resistance come from our comfort and self. And I'll throw some limiting beliefs in there, right? To say that's too far, I can't do it, that's too much. When really all it takes is one step at a time. I didn't put pressure on myself to go fast. I do have a time limit because I got to get back and see some clients, but you can do anything. Our minds are so powerful, y'all, and I don't know if y'all really and truly understand that. One, I think it's a known fact we're created in God's image, right? Like, I think everyone knows that. That's common knowledge. And I think, so that's Genesis 1:1. And I think that we forget how powerful we are and what we possess, the authority we have being made in God's image, because in Genesis 3, it says, God said, let there be light, and it was. So why is that important? It's important because every word that comes out of your mouth, and there's scripture to back this up as well, right? Every word that comes out of your mouth, that is a seed that you are sowing. And we know we reap what we sow. And like Dr. Tony Roach says, you know, what you sow is what you are is what you give is what you get, and what you get is what you deserve. And I'm going to add on to it, and that's because it started with you. What you saw, what you took in, and then that informs what comes out of the body, right? And so just be mindful of all of that and know that whatever you say is what your reality will reflect. Nothing that you are sitting in is an accident, okay? When you think about those things, not the random thing, that just happened to you, right? That's different. But the things that you say are what shapes who you become, who you get into relationship with, and what your life looks like. So I also want you to understand your current reality is actually a result of your past decisions. So you're in this, we are each in, okay, how can I explain this without getting like too wordy? So basically, you're in the past and the present all at the same time, because your circumstances, the context, that's the result of previous decisions. Like the apartment you live in right now, the house that you live in, you made that decision to sign that lease, to sign that deed or whatever, right? So that's where you're living. However, you might be a different person than you were when you signed that. And that reflected your choices, your preferences, even your finances back then. So you get what I'm saying? So you're living in a present life based on past circumstances. And so you got to understand every decision that you make today is going to create your future reality. So it's important to not get stuck in what it looks like and focus on what you're creating up here, what you're speaking out of here, because that's what's going to determine the future and allow you to live the life that you were created and designed to live. So get busy sowing seeds of abundance. Love y'all. Bye.